Morning, Dr. Carlisle. All have assembled for the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science Commencement Ceremony 2022.
Well, good morning. And I'll say joyous morning. I am Dr. David Carlisle, president of Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. And I would like to welcome you to the university's 38th Annual Commencement Ceremony. I know that you are anxious to begin this ceremony, but before we do, it is the tradition of the ceremony to begin our commencement with an invocation. I would like to introduce Pastor Princeton Parker of Crusade Christian Faith Center in Inglewood, who will give the invocation. Pastor Parker.
Good morning. What a beautiful day this is, and as we prepare for this invocation, I'm going to ask that you would center yourselves in whatever way is authentic and honorable to your spiritual practice. Dear God, as words are shared and tears are shed, as names are called and as laughs and shouts ring, we recognize the power of this moment to do three things. We thank you that today we will celebrate achievement, that behind every cap was courage. Behind every face today is a story of faith. We thank you that it took a lot for them to get here, to stay the course, and so we celebrate what they have achieved. And at the same time, we honor community. We thank you that we would not be here if it were not for those who went before us, who made the path, who held up our arms, who taught us, inspired us, guided us. Some of them physically, we hold their hands, and others in their absence, we hold them in our heart, but we thank you for them. And last but not least today, we affirm our commitment to use this education and these degrees and this moment for justice and liberation and for uplift. And we thank you that that commitment will be stronger as a result of today. We do this all with a gratitude that will become joy that this world can't take away. So bless this celebration and the reason why we celebrate. Amen.
Now, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem, I would like to invite student and graduate Asarm Wense Igadan to the stage.
Thank you, President Calise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present the John C. Fremont High School Color Guard. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Everyone, please rise and receive them. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
I am extremely honored to congratulate you on your achievement. I am proud to lead all attendees in a round of well-deserved applause on this momentous day to acknowledge your amazing achievement. And when I say this momentous day, I mean it. This is the largest commencement ceremony in the long history of Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. So big that we're doing it twice. Yet the record-setting size of today's festivities is not the most notable thing about it. It's not about the quantity of CDU graduates. It never was. It's about the quality of those graduates. And today we have an abundance of quality as we celebrate not just the mighty lions of 2022, we also welcome the 2 prior classes of graduates to this first live commencement ceremony in 3 years. Mighty Lions of 2020 and 2021, I see you. It's truly great to have you here, truly. The theme of this year's commencement is, you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. These are words by Dr. Cornel West, whom you will hear from in a few minutes. And they resonate particularly truly for our graduates at this moment in time. The world that awaits you, now more than ever, is in need of your unique combination of compassion, knowledge, and skill. If each of you managed to take just a few steps toward health equity after leaving here, then what I see before me is that we are 1,000 steps closer to achieving that vision. Some people have careers, some have callings. The fortunate few have both. That's what sets you apart as you graduate and venture into or return to your chosen fields. You have a fire inside that drove the thirst for knowledge that led you here. That same fire will now guide you forth to change the world, each in your own way. Once again, I congratulate you on this very special day, and I thank you also for taking up this charge. You're answering the call with a roar, one that will resonate across society. You are ready. You are mighty lions, now and forever. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce the chair of CU's Board of Trustees, Dr. Benjamin F. Quillian, retired Executive Vice Chancellor and CFO of the California State University System. Chair Quillian.
Thank you, President Carlisle, and good day to everyone. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my great privilege and pleasure to congratulate the class of 2022. Graduates, we are very proud of you today and thrilled with what you faced and accomplished before and during the most challenging time in our history. You represent the vision, mission, and values of CDU, and we celebrate and salute you. Congratulations, and may you be fulfilled and successful in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you, Chair Quillian. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium the daughter of the university's namesake, Dr. J.D. Sylvia Drew Ivey, Special Assistant to the President for Community Relations.
Good morning, graduates. It's so wonderful to be with you this morning. Thank you, Dr. Carlisle, for a moment just to talk about my dad and CDU history. My father was described in your program in great detail, and you read that program and you say, oh my, this was just a giant of a person. But he was really a humble person, and he was the son of a carpet layer in Arlington, Virginia. And his dad took his small salary to send him to medical school in McGill. And during the Depression, his dad lost his job, and he almost had to pull his son out of medical school. Scholarships, not unlike the scholarships that many of you have received, saved the day, and he was able to graduate and go on to make the contribution that he made. CDU is such an exceptional university. It almost projects personhood not just cold assembly of bricks and mortar. CDU is the realization of dreams of its founders, leaders like Mitchell Spellman, David Satcher, M. Alfred Haynes. They dreamed of an institution that was connected to, not apart from, the university it served. Community members from South LA served on our board of trustees from the very beginning. They learned because the community leaders like Lillian Mobley, Mary Henry, Kathy Green, and Nola Carter made them see that if the university made both an effort to know the community and have the community know us, great things could be accomplished. And so we did. Our early programs included a physician assistant training program, a pediatric P-school, childcare, a residential program for abused women and their children, and a Head Start program. These were not traditional medical education undertakings, nor were their multiracial faculty, staff, and students traditional. It was the founders' dream to create a community living, working, and learning from one another, and that aspiration is still our goal today. The early university had no home but a 3-wide trailer at 120th and Compton, but in that humble home, these seminal ideas of leadership developed. Their dreams live on today in you. I am so proud to have my father's name and memory live in this special university's endeavors. As you graduate today, I leave you with the earnest request he made to young people he taught so many, many years ago. Make this world, he said, make this world a place of less pain and more joy. Make this world a place of less pain and more joy. And to that instruction, CDU today would add, and make that better world in partnership with a rainbow of people from the very communities we serve. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ms. Drew Ivy. We're honored to have with us today Dr. Kathleen Sanford, Executive Vice President and Chief Nursing Officer of Dignity Health. I'd like to welcome Dr. Sanford to share remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Carlisle. So 48 years ago, grads, I was sitting in your place, graduating from nursing school. And as I walked in and heard the music, I was just filled with so many emotions and thoughts and love for all of you. First of all, I want to add my congratulations because I know that it's hard to go to nursing school. I know it's hard to get through. Some people don't make it. But you did with the help of this outstanding faculty. In this very special school, and it's good that it was hard because you're entering a hard profession. And it's a profession that's going to touch you in this room are going to touch millions and millions and millions of people. You're going to make individuals healthier, and as the World Health Organization said just last year, the world will only be a healthy place if we have more nurses and their teams. So my final message is just to say thank you. I know you'll be thanking the faculty and the university, but I want to thank each of you for choosing nursing. We need you. The world needs you. Your communities need you. Your families need you. And I, for one, am very grateful you made this choice. So thank you and congratulations.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Sanford. At this time, I'd like to invite the interim provost and dean of the College of Medicine, Dr. Deborah Prothero-Stith, to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Carlisle. President Carlisle, I'm delighted to join you in congratulating our graduates and their families and their friends. And I'm going to ask the graduates of 2022 and those of 2020 and 2021 who've joined us to turn around and give your families and friends the applause that they need. Today, we celebrate you. I also want to celebrate and thank the faculty of the Mervyn M. Dymally School of Nursing at Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science for their successful year and all that they did. Join me in giving them a round of applause. It feels like yesterday when we welcomed you to campus. It might have been virtually and it might have been in person, but the time has gone pretty quickly. And what we know is that you have studied hard. You have met some challenges. These times are really difficult ones, and we're so very proud of you. And we're here to say goodbye. But it's a different kind of goodbye. It's actually a welcome. It's a welcome to the CDU family as alumni, and it's a welcome to let you know that we are invested in you and we are invested in your careers. We imbued you with the CDU Advantage. It focuses, as you know, on research, global health, social justice, community engagement, and health policy. And with that, we expect you to go forth and build careers that change the world, fulfilling the CDU mission, embracing fact over fiction, embracing truth over falsehood, and science over hearsay. We want you to continue your work to create a democratic society that people are comfortable and participate regardless of race, gender identity, religion, or socioeconomic status. Your work at CDU through these times of challenges, unprecedented challenges, not just COVID-19, but the George Floyd murder, the recent gun violence, the need to really get more and more people vaccinated. Your persistence is so important. Your leadership, your careers, we are counting on you. CDU is growing. It is growing, as you know, it has grown while you are there. As the president said, this is the largest class that we've graduated. That is so important. It is you who are a part of the CDU future. You are a part of the CDU family. Once a member of the CDU family, always a member of the CDU family. So, as I said earlier, this is sort of goodbye, but a very special kind of goodbye that's also a welcome. And like any family member, I ask that you support CDU and keep CDU in your prayers. Congratulations to you. We are proud of you. Now I have the distinct honor of introducing this year's class speaker. Please join me in welcoming LaShawn Smith Williams, student candidate for the Master of Science in Nursing, Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioner degree in the Mervyn M. Dymally School of Nursing.
Thank you for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. To President Cardile, Provost Dean, Provost Smith, Miss Sylvia Drew Ivy, honored speaker, Dr. Cornell West, distinguished guests, Board of Trustees, Dean Hodgson, faculty, staff, students, families, and friends who are here and also watching live with us. And for everyone who made it possible for us to get here today. It is my distinct honor to be able to deliver a commencement message to this tenacious and incredible student body. We did it. As announced, I'm the representative for the Psych Mental Cohort 6. And while we all may represent different cohorts and different programs, we have one thing in common, and that is taking care of people. So as I stand before you, I want you to hold on to the words that are by Cornell West. You can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. And we do serve. I knew at age 6 that I wanted to be a nurse. I've always had a love for helping people. After 9/11, I would capitalize on my desire to help and serve the people by joining the United States Army as a critical care nurse. My initial plan was just 8 years. But here today, I'm still serving 20. I was introduced by Charles Drew by one of my fellow soldiers who's also in the audience graduating with me today from the FMP. Lieutenant Colonel Williams, thank you for introducing me to Charles Drew. If it were not for him, I may not have found you all. We all had many opportunities and options across the globe for education, but we all chose Charles Drew because of what it stands for: service for the people, leading the people, and making changes for the people. Charles Drew University has led many initiatives to provide service for the people. They opened a testing center during COVID and deployed students to all locations to help administer vaccines and get people vaccinated. I had the honor of representing Charles Drew representatively by representing other HBCUs on the awareness and resiliency of this initiative to impact change and increase numbers of vaccinations in lower socioeconomic and urban areas. Charles Drew is a place that trains, educates, teaches advocacy, and encourages students to be empowered and make changes for the people. I want you all to take a moment and look at your program. Look at the different disciplines that are graduating. The graduates are not just ordinary people. They are people who have made a decision for others to care for them regardless of their color, their skin, their sexuality, their socioeconomic status, or the language that they speak. They are graduates who want to tackle what's current, and that is providing care for those affected by this pandemic. And as we see on the news, mental health is real, and we're here to make those changes. You have to have a love for people to be willing to risk your health and safety to save someone else's life. During the pandemic, it was very hard for us to get our clinicals, to juggle work, to study, get our hours, and hopefully avoid contracting COVID while taking care of these duties. The university had to figure out how do we adapt to ensure our education was received and we met all requirements. Well, Charles Drew, you did it, because we're all successful sitting here today. So thank you. As I close, I leave you with this. Pandemic means the global population will be affected. What we all have learned, I want you to redefine what pandemic is. P, persist, promote, persevere for the people. A, advocate and make changes for the people. N, don't you never accept defeat. And know that when somebody tells you no, it's a new opportunity. D, dare to stand for what is right, what is moral, and what is ethical. Don't take a blind eye. E, empower the people. M, mentor and motivate so that there will be more voices to mitigate on behalf of the people. I, illuminate and let your brightness shine so that it can innovate the people. And C, confidently communicate the importance of serving the people and caring for the people. I want graduates to spread this globally, be the voice and hands of change. Don't sit back when you can make a difference, and know that we all need change. We need our families, friends, mentors, colleagues in the audience to help us too. Together, we can make a difference. I won't leave this podium without thanking my cohort, the faculty, for allowing me to serve and lead you as your class president. My family, friend, grandchildren, and loving husband for understanding the late nights of classes, studying, and the long papers. And most of all, I have to thank God for his grace and mercy for allowing yet another day to serve the people as a psych mental health nurse practitioner. It has been a true honor to serve and be a part of change at Charles Drew. Congratulations, graduates.
Well, thank you, Ms. Smith. Wasn't that an outstanding presentation? It is now my pleasure to introduce this morning's commencement speaker. Dr. Cornell West is no stranger to our university. In fact, we were just saying, I think he's been with us on half a dozen occasions prior to this, over the very many years since I've been president. A professor, philosopher, author, and activist, his moving orations never fail to inform and inspire. He's currently the Dietrich Bonhoeffer Chair at Union Theological Seminary. The former professor of practice of public philosophy at Harvard University and professor emeritus at Princeton University has proven himself to be a champion of truth. His commitment and dedication to advocate for equity with his signature mix of passion and fire shines a white heart spotlight on injustice while helping to show the way to a better tomorrow. Please join me in welcoming to our stage a very good friend of our university, a true social justice warrior, and unflinching scholar, Dr. Cornell West.
Oh, what a blessing, what an honor, what a privilege to be here. Let us salute first the class of 2022, 2021, and 2020. That's what we're here for. Oh, we affirm what you have already done. Let us give it up again for President LaShawn Smith Williams. Pandemic, did you get every letter, every meaning, every interpretation of that word? I want to salute the captain of the ship. 11 high-quality years of service to this historic institution. I'm talking about my dear brother, President David Carlisle, MD, PhD, lover of this institution. Give it up for our brother. First Lady Sylvia, Dr. Sylvia Carlisle as well, sitting next to my beloved wife, Anna Heath. Give it up for Sylvia. Oh, yes. Sister Amy and Brother David, their precious children. Why? Because we know when you come to a gathering like this, Sly Stone says it's a family affair. Isn't that the truth? None of us self-made. None of us gave birth to ourselves. None of us taught ourselves our language. None of us shaped and molded us in ways we couldn't conceive of. It's a family affair. And I must say, my dear sister Deborah Provost, I've known her for 40 years. She's like family. Interim Provost, give it up for our dear sister. And oh, Charles Drew. Ooh, we don't have language. Words fall short of what he exemplifies. And we have his daughter, J.D. Esquire, storyteller, Sylvia Drew Ivy. Give it up for her. This brother Ben, my dear sister as well, Stanford. I go on and on and on. But when I get to moments like this, it's what we call kairos. Kairos is a meaning-informed moment. It's not just chronos. Something special is going on. And we get a chance to reflect on who we really are at our best, because we're living at a moment where the society seems to be at its worst. We're living in a moment in which the hounds of hell have been unleashed in unprecedented ways of organized hatred and institutionalized greed and routinized fear and chronic hypocrisy. How are we going to be countervailing forces against it? That's what these classes are all about. You all constitute the glue that holds together this fragile democracy undergoing an unraveling. And if we don't stand up in the name of the Charles Drews and others, who will? So we start with ourselves. I don't believe in name calling. I don't believe in finger pointing. I start with myself. I'm a cracked vessel. And I have to make a decision, just like these precious graduates. I have to decide what kind of human being I want to be in my short move from my mama's womb to tomb. Will I be willing to serve? Because I don't know about you, but I am who I am because somebody loved me. Somebody cared for me. Somebody attended to me. Somebody nursed me. Not just physically, but psychically and spiritually. Because I come from a great people, a black people, who at our best, in the face of 400 years of chronic hatred, just keep dishing out love warriors every generation. Every generation. That's right, in this country. We talking about Frederick Douglass. We talking about Ida B. Wells Barnett. We talking about Fannie Lou Hamer. We talking about Martin Luther King Jr. What was Martin Luther King Jr. about? And I could ask my dear brother, Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas, who played such an important role in helping sustain this institution, along with Mervyn Dymally, sustaining this institution, but in the face of hatred, refusing to hate back, but choosing to be love warriors. And I know as nurses, you all understand John Coltrane's Love Supreme. Is that right? You understand Toni Morrison's Beloved? You understand what that care is all about. We're not talking about in the abstract. We're talking about on the ground. We're talking about when you touch and feel and grin and hug and nurse, body to body, soul to soul, eye to eye, person to person. This is no deodorized discourse about abstract care. We keep it funky at Charles R. Drew. And when you keep it funky, you're in contact with those flat stone called everyday people. You got intimate relations to those James Cleveland called ordinary people, because there are extraordinary things going on in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. And there's greatness in everyday people, because somewhere I read, he or she is greatest among you will be your servant. He or she who will be great will have a quality of service and a courage and a willingness to take a risk for something bigger than them. Now, I learned in Shiloh Baptist Church, but you can learn in a whole lot of other places. Malcolm X learned it in the mosque. My sister Bell Hooks learned it in a Buddhist temple. James Baldwin was an agnostic, but he understood love on a very deep way. So no one of us and no religious tradition has a monopoly on the kind of love and care and service to the least of these. But we have to be honest in terms of where we come down, what motivates us, and how will we be long-distance runners? Because when you have a vocation of being a nurse and a servant, that's not just a quick choice of a lifestyle. That's a calling, as our brother said. That's a vocation. You're going to be a long-distance runner. Class 2021, 2022. Are you choosing to be long-distance runners? Are you choosing to be long-distance runners? We don't want no sprinters coming out of the blocks and we run into you 2 years later. You say, I ran out of gas. Oh, that love stuff was too much for me. No, justice is what love looks like in public, just like tenderness is what love feels like in private. So if you get a little tired, turn on a little Otis Redding, that genius from Macon, Georgia. He said, try a little tenderness. Listen to a little baby face, a tenderoni. And it's not a function of skin pigmentation. It's the choice that you make no matter what color you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter what sexual orientation you are, no matter what your national identity is. Because there's black gangsters and black thugs just like there's Martin Luther King Jr.'s and Fannie Lou Hamer's. And I know I was a gangster before I met Jesus, and now I'm just a redeemed sinner with gangster proclivities. So I'm critical of myself, calling myself into question to do what? To fall back on the best that has come inside of me. So when we see you, we see your mamas and your daddies and your grandmamas and your granddaddies and your aunts and uncles and your teachers and your coaches and your intellectual ancestors, whoever they are. It could be Wole Soyinka of Nigeria. It could be Marquez of Columbia Country, not Columbia University. That is the best of Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. Why? Because in the midst of all of the dimness, all of the bleakness, all of the darkness, you have chosen to be beacons of light. And to choose to be beacons of light means you're going to have to cut radically against the grain. Even when the airplanes fly over your commencement, you still got a smile on your face. That's part of what I'm talking about. And because I come from a people in the face of trauma for 400 years keep dishing out wounded healers rather than just wounded herders. In the face of terror from the plantation and the lynching tree, the police out of control, to killing each other in the hood, we still keep dishing out joy spreaders. That's what it is to choose service. Not just now, but anytime, but especially at a moment where we're on the brink of nuclear catastrophe, escalating ecological catastrophe, grotesque wealth inequality, that's an economic catastrophe, but most importantly, spiritual and moral catastrophe. Not enough people choosing love and care and willingness to serve the weak and the vulnerable. That's what you are choosing at this commencement, keeping alive the best of the legacy of Charles R. Drew and so many who came before. And I'm going to sit down. No, because once this fire hits me, I don't know what happens. But I tell you this, when I look in your eyes, and you know the eyes are the windows of your soul, I feel a hope. I'm not talking about no cheap American optimism that believes in the green light and things are always going to get better. No, I'm talking about people who choose hope. So you're never surprised by any evil. You're never paralyzed by despair. You a blues woman, you a jazz man, and blues is nothing but catastrophe lyrically expressed, and jazz is about the freedom to be a force for good and hope in the midst of overwhelming catastrophe, so that none of the darkness has a last word. You constitute that light. Sometimes it's just a flickering candle, but it's still a light. 3 classes I'm speaking to: never give up on your light, never give up on your calling, never give up on your vocation. Let us work together, struggle together, and never forget about your magnificent experience in this historic institution with our memories of the best and our willingness to serve those who come after.
Well, let's give it up again to Dr. Cornell West. What a wonderful commencement address. I hope you all are fired up as I am. I'd now like to introduce and invite Dr. Thomas McGee, President of the Academic Senate, to the podium for the certification of degrees and certificates. President McGee.
Thank you, President Carlisle and Interim Provost Prothero Stith. Before I certify the candidates for graduation, I would like to acknowledge members of the CDU faculty who were honored during a faculty awards reception held last week. I would like to ask the honorees to please stand and be acknowledged. The recipient of the Outstanding Professor Award was presented to Dr. Cynthia Davis, Assistant Professor of the College of Science and Health. Dr. Ann Wicks, Assistant Director of the ELM program and instructor of the Mervyn M. Dymally School of Nursing. And Dr. Bikaw Shukla, Assistant Professor in the College of Science and Health, received the award for outstanding teaching. Thank you. President Carlisle and Provost Prothero Stith, I certify that Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science Academic Senate has reviewed and approved the list of candidates present here today for their appropriate degrees and certificates, and are entitled to be admitted to the ranks, privileges, and responsibilities of those degrees.
Everyone, most especially graduates, we have now come to the time which has brought you to this point, the conferring of degrees and certificates. May all degree and certificate recipients who are able to stand for the conferral of their degrees please stand up. Please stand up. all receiving degrees and certificates. And remain standing, and remain standing. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I shall present to each candidate a certificate of admission to the appropriate degree, and by so doing shall admit them to the rank, privileges, and responsibilities of those degrees. Thank you. You may now be seated. I will now receive all the candidates, and I call on the University Interim Provost to present all the candidates for their respective degrees. Provost Prothero-Stith.
Mr. President, all the graduates and candidates from the class of 2020, 2021, and 2022 will be presented by their programs. I now call on Dr. Maria Rakanita Huxon, Interim Dean, Mervyn M. Dymally School of Nursing. Dean Huxon.
Thank you, Provost Prothero-Stith. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present the following members of the classes of 2020, 2021, and 2022.
My name is Dr. Sharon Cobb, and I am the director of the pre-licensure nursing programs here at CDU. I am also a proud alumna as I received my Master's of Science in Nursing in 2013 and my Master of Public Health in 2020 here at CDU. Thank you. Today, in your transition from student to graduate, I want you to recognize that you will always be a product of CDU. Just like you, I have sat in your exact seat during this occasion beside peers, family, and friends looking down and understanding the future impact that you will have on healthcare and the global community. I ask you at this time to consider the ways in which CDU has nurtured you, with caring and supportive faculty and staff supporting you in your journey to arrive at this moment today. As a soon-to-be CDU alum, your mission now includes the future impact and contributions that you will offer to incoming students. We ask that you take the time to come and speak on a panel, teach a course, mentor a student, or attend an event. It is your commitment as a CDU alum that will enrich future healthcare leaders. Let me tell you, you have made your stamp here at CDU, but I implore you, do not let this stamp dry. Just as CDU was built by the community and continues to thrive in the community, please stand firm in knowing that your actions and contributions will expand the CDU community. At this point, you are now reaching the pinnacle of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and achieving self-actualization and ensuring that you will be that agent of change. Through this mission, I encourage you to join me in the CDU Alumni Association through the Office of the Alumni Relations and continuing the CDU mission. Overall, I look forward to collaborating with you as we all continue to empower our communities and positively changing the landscape of healthcare. Congratulations again, Mighty Lions, you did it.
Okay, we're at that special moment. I'd like to ask all graduates to please stand. It is a customary practice in academia that after the degree is conferred, graduates switch their tassel from the right side to the left. To commemorate your academic achievement, congratulations. To your left. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present to you the class of 2020, the class of 2021, and the class of 22 graduates of the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science, Mervyn M. Dymally School of Nursing. Please join me by standing and giving our graduates another round of applause.